Okay. So, thank you for joining us for my questions for you, Jo. So, my first question is, how did you get into the club throwing discus?
Okay, it's a bit of a funny one, really, because a lot of people always aspire to be an Olympian or whatever, but I never thought I'd be a Paralympian because I wasn't born disabled, so it wasn't something that I always thought I would do. But about 10 years ago, so probably about when you were born, I had an operation on my back to remove a spinal tumour, and it left me in a wheelchair, which you might be able to see there, my wheels, which was a bit of a big change, to be honest. But while I was in hospital, after the operation, we did rehab, and rehab was pretty much playing sport. And I played a old wheelchair rugby, which you need to Google it. It is amazing. It's wheelchairs crashing into each other, trying to knock each other out of the chairs. I absolutely fell in love with the sport and carried on doing it after I came out of hospital. And then while I was playing wheelchair rugby, I was talent spotted by UK Sport to try athletics. And when I first tried in 2013, on my first trial, I threw a distance with the discus that would have got me a silver medal in the London 2012 Games. So, yeah, exciting. And it all started from there.
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, so my second question is, how did you feel when you got the call up to say you were representing Great Britain in the Paralympics?
Yeah, it's weird. I think I go back to 2014, the first one that I got my call up, that was probably the most because I'd just started throwing, and I'd never thought that I'd ever be able to compete for Great Britain. And I remember getting the call to say that you were selected for your country, and it was like, wow, you just feel so proud that you could do this, especially after something quite bad.
Yeah.
You know, like going in a chair wasn't very good, but to realise how you can turn it around and make it into a really exciting thing. And I got the bag full of all my kit, and like it's just all so exciting. It's like a kid in a sweet shop.
Yeah.
Then I found out where I was going, and they said Swan. I'm like, I thought I was going to compete in the world, and I'm going to Wales. But that was a climax, but it was still good. And then, obviously, in 2016, I found out about Rio, and it was just so much bigger than everything else. As soon as I got that phone call, I had like press ringing me, media, interviews. I had to do talking in Portuguese for like adverts. I was on with Channel 4, and it was a completely different world, so it was quite exciting.
Yeah. Okay, my third question is, what's the biggest challenge you have faced as a Paralympian?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably when I was in Rio, not many people know this, when I was there, you go for a few weeks beforehand to prepare.
Yep.
And while I was in the holding camp, I actually got injured during training.
Oh.
So I'd gone like in the best shape I could be in. I'd won that year the Europeans and got a world record, and I knew that I was in like the best shape. And I was travelling back from training on the bus, and I was holding on to a bar with my arm, travelling, and the bus went into a pothole, and it jerked my shoulder, and I tore all of my shoulder. And I remember thinking in that moment, I've lost it all, you know? I'm here, the biggest competition of my life, biggest stadium, and I think I've just broken it. I didn't tell anybody straight away, but it didn't take long for the doctors to sort of see my face and realise something wasn't right. And they were really good. At that kind of moment, I had to almost give them the control, if that makes sense. I had to trust. I think it's not just my journey, I had to trust other people. And they wrapped me up in cotton wool. I wasn't allowed to throw a club until the day I was competing, so it was about 2 weeks later. And they gave me injections, little exercises to do to try and hold it together, taped it up, bit of pain medication, and we went out on the day. As scary, as hard as that was, when I got out there, I felt quite relaxed because I thought, well, what will be to some extent. I can only do my best. And I had no idea what it would be like when I started to throw. And I was the last person to throw. So I'd seen everybody else do theirs, and then I went to do mine, and my first throw put me in the lead. I throw was a world record. And you have 3 throws to start with. So I came off after my 3 throws, and I was in pain, and I didn't know if I'd be able to do another 3, but I was like, I've done all I can, you know, I have thrown further than I've ever thrown before. I'm in the league. If somebody comes out and beats me now, then that's sport. But, you know, I've done, and the team around me have done everything I can. So it was the hardest, but probably the best as well.
Yeah. Okay, my 4th question was, what was it like when you won gold in Rio?
Awesome. Like, the crowd was huge, and as soon as I'd won, there were people throwing flags at you, and then because the competition had gone on quite far, the closing ceremony, the podium ceremony was pretty much straight away. I was even wearing like my coach's shoes because I never had my podium shoes on me.
Yeah.
That was at the wall. It's that quick that you were grabbing kit from everywhere. But I remember being on that podium, on that middle, thinking, you know, we did it. And like, my coach was there, one of my best friends that I was in hospital with, she was on the team and she was there. And all the messages that I got from like people at home that I didn't even necessarily know that well, that it for them as well. And that was really proud.
Yeah, well done. My 5th question was, what was it like to perform in front of a massive crowd in stadium?
Yeah, that was special. We don't get that very often in parasport. A lot of the competitions are quite, you know, you're competing against small crowds, and a lot of just friends and family and like other teams. But the Paralympics was huge. It was packed. Yeah. So the noise, when you came out, the noise was just like nothing you'd never, you know, seen or heard before. It was a little bit off-putting to start with, but when I'm probably nervous beforehand, and then when I get into the circle, that's where I feel happy. So I'm okay then. Yeah.
Okay, my 6th question is the greatest experience of being a Paralympian.
Oh, I guess my first call-up is special, but I think it's got to have been winning this. Yeah, winning that. That's got to be, you know, it's a pretty meaty medal. And medal is probably the best one, yeah. It even makes a noise if you listen.
That's cool.
So that's for the visually impaired. So every medal is a noise.
Yep.
So the gold and the silver and the bronze were slightly different, so that they could tell what medal it had.
That's cool. Okay, that's really cool. 7. What was it like when you found out that you were to receive your MBE?
Yeah, I was a bit shocked. I didn't really think I'd done enough to deserve it, if I was honest. And I didn't really understand, but it was proud. You know, I'm pleased that when I got it from the Queen. And that's probably the time that she was actually giving them out, so that was nice. And I guess it was just that, again, it's not just me that it matters to. It's not just me, my family and my team that support me. It's like the whole of the country. Yeah. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, number 8. You have attended the Sports Personality of the Year Awards. Who inspires you?
I've met a lot of people, and a lot of famous people, and like the likes of Chris Hoy, who's won millions of medals and that. But actually, the person that inspires me is a guy called Michael Kerr, who you've probably not heard of, but he is a 2-time Paralympian in wheelchair rugby, and he's the person that got me into the sport. So I met him just after I was injured, and he was the one that pushed me to do what I'm doing, and I wouldn't do what I'm doing without him. And I think the thing that he taught me, his passion and his dedication is second to none. He worked so hard. He was in the longs team, so he was wanting to go to the Beijing Olympics in 2008, and literally missed the team by one person. But made him so determined to work hard for the next 4 years that he was a vice captain at London 2012. And just see that's what kind of inspired me to be the best that I can.
Yep. Good answer. Number 9. Who have you met who made you genuinely starstruck?
Again, a lot of people, but I think it's Usain Bolt. He's just cool. He's just too cool. He is as cool as what he looks and seems. So yeah.
That's really cool. My number 10. What's next for Jo Butterfield MBE?
So Tokyo 2020 is now Tokyo 2021. So yeah, it's kind of this year trying to train from home. It's not the same, but doing what we can to train, and hopefully next year get out and do it again.
Yep.
I want to defend this.
Yes.
Try and get another one of these.
Yep. Definitely. And my final last question. What was your biggest achievement? Winning Olympic gold or putting up with working with my dad?
I knew that was going to come in. The working with your dad was harder. I taught him everything he knows.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. And I can't wait to meet you. And I promise my dad is buying lunch.
Sounds good. Let me show you my trophy room that I'm sitting in.
Okay.
Before we go.
Okay.
I'm back.
Whoa.
So that's my that I won gold with. And then we've got pictures up from...
Oh,
That's
amazing.
my favourite picture. The one you biting the medal's my favourite one.
Yeah, it's a good one. And then we've got that's me with my coach and stuff. Some memorabilia from those.
Whoa, that's really cool.
Medals.
Wow.
So they're my European and world ones. And this one obviously is the beauty.
Yep, that's the best one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big one.
That's a big one.
Let me tell you. It's really heavy as well. That's what
Is
everyone
it?
says. When they put it on, so it's first thing to say it's really heavy. And what I like is it's engraved on the side.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
Yep. So it's engraved. It says so it says Athletics Women's Club Throw. F51. So basically, this is unique. There's only one.
There's only
because
one.
they were all engraved with the event that you do.
Yeah, that's really
So
cool.
yeah, it's cool.
Thank you. Thank you for having time. Bye.
Bye.